We always like to provide that extra Monday motivation, but I don't know if there is anything that at least is going to get me motivated to swim half a mile in the Ohio River, then bike more than 100 miles, and then finish up by running a marathon. That's why I'm not an Ironman, like our guest this morning and our DJ. They're all racing the triathlon this coming Sunday. Nick Curcio is the DJ, and we'll talk about your story first. So Nick, set the scene of the before you.
The before me was just a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, you know, ate whatever I wanted, did whatever I wanted, and just, you know, I was in real estate doing short sales and not exercising at all. Blood pressure was bad, sugar was high, everything was, you know, way out of whack.
But what was that aha moment, the one where you said, enough's enough?
I saw myself on TV one time, and people were calling in. I was a national short sale expert, and they were asking questions. And while they were asking questions, I'm looking at the monitor saying, "Oh my gosh, how did you let yourself get like this?" So I went home that night and I gorged out on the Chinese buffet, Dairy Queen, and that was it. And then I went ahead, and the next day I went on a die-hard 6-month regimen and lost 70 pounds in 6 months.
And all told, though, you have lost, what, 130?
138, yep. I got back up to 247 when I did Ironman Texas this year, and I was a little disappointed in myself, so I started working on nutrition again, and I'm ready.
Here you are.
This is the lightest I've ever been ready before an Ironman.
Oh, we're so glad to have you here. Now, Meredith Jo Nguyen, your story is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had been involved in an organization for a long time, 17 years, and
let's back that up, in a charity organization.
A charity organization, yes, as a volunteer for 17 years, and things didn't go well, and they asked me not to come back, and so I kind of spiraled.
And I want you to use that word, though, that they used. They thought that you weren't dedicated enough.
I wasn't dedicated. Yeah, they said they worried about my dedication to the organization. So I started to spiral down and get into a depression, and I needed some way to pull me out, and I supported my friend Suzanne at the Ironman that was 2 years ago that year, and I went home and told my husband, I think I want to do a half Ironman. I don't want to do this full business. It's too much. I said, I think I just want to do a half. I just want to do one and be done with it. Well, famous last words. I did that half Ironman. I've done 2 more, I've done 3 half Ironman total, and I'm doing the full this year. So I showed dedication.
I am not somebody who's a proponent of revenge, but there has to be some satisfaction of saying, hey, charity that let me go because of my lack of dedication, I'll show you some dedication.
I have been dedicated.
It has to feel good.
It does feel good. But aside from that, it's taught me so much about myself.
Absolutely.
I've changed who I am. It's just, it's hard to go out and do 100-mile bike rides in the heat and these 3-hour runs and leave your husband and kid behind. It's really hard, but when you have the support from your family and then you meet these people that we train with all the time, it was like a whole nother lifestyle for me.
Absolutely. Eric Bryant, moving on, what's your story?
Yeah, well, about a year and a half ago, it was actually the Monday after family gorge fest at Easter dinner, and I got on the scale the next morning and was as heavy as I had ever been, and had felt terrible. My blood pressure was high, and I knew I had to change some things. So kind of on a lark, I signed up for Tri Louisville, which was only about 10 weeks away, and I lost 25, 30 pounds in that time, and couldn't swim. Freaked out in the Ohio River, and talked to somebody on a kayak for about 5 minutes before I doggy paddled a little bit further on down, and I was instantly hooked, and have been doing triathlon ever since, and kind of had a dream to do Ironman pretty quickly into this, and I've kind of drawn some inspiration from a local faith community that's just for children, and it's a missional faith community called Grace Kids, a church for children in the South Louisville, Churchill Downs area. And I've started a fundraiser on Facebook.
And so that part of that is your motivation. I have to ask you this because this was in my notes. Rudest question in the world. How young are you?
Yeah, I'm 53 years old.
But how do you feel?
I feel about 30 right now. I feel great.
You feel better than you have.
I feel better than I've felt in 25 years.
I love to hear that. Now, last but definitely not least, Ann Hall, your story.
In my mid-30s, I got heart disease, and had already been diagnosed with eye disease, and that kind of changed the way that I live, because things that I thought, well, maybe I'll do that later, or maybe I want to you go through life so fast.
Yes.
And then I'm like, maybe I don't have time. I didn't know if I was going to make it to my 40s. So every time I would see something that maybe I'd want to do, like, I don't really wait anymore. And so I was volunteering 2 years ago, and I saw the people getting out of the water and on the run, and all different sizes, ages, and I'm just so inspired by them. I thought, maybe I could do it. Why not just try? So.
And here you
And
are.
here I am, yeah. I'm
Okay.
nervous, but
So somebody watching, because I mean, I think this resonates with all of us. Each of you have a different story, and I think we can find a piece of ourselves somehow in all of you. Just one piece of advice for somebody who is sitting out there who did feel like maybe you had at some point, no way can I do this.
Right.
Start over there, Nick.
I mean, just don't think about it. Just do it. I mean, if you think long, you think wrong. I did
Like that.
my first race was a sprint, and I thought that was the Ironman because I was still 300 pounds when I did it.
But you did it.
Yes.
Like you said. Okay, Meredith.
You have to start small. I mean, you can have a big goal, but you have to set smaller ones along the way. I couldn't swim 25 meters when I first jumped in the pool. So my goal was to swim 50 meters without stopping. So it's like you have to set tiny goals and reach those to get to the big goal.
Absolutely, Eric.
Yeah, put your faith in God and also believe that you are capable of so much more than you ever imagined possible.
You can see that radiating off of your face. I love that. And Anne, your piece of advice.
I think just be willing to put yourself out there and try, and you may not get it right away, but it's just like Meredith said, the baby steps. Like maybe today's just running to the stop sign, and tomorrow's running around the block, and then you just build from there.
Oh, well, we'll be cheering all of you on. Thank you so much for being so candid about your stories. Louisville's Ironman Triathlon, again, is this Sunday, and you can come down to watch the race. I encourage you to do that. The athletes gather on the Great Lawn before the first swim wave starts at 7:30 Sunday morning, with the race ending 16 hours and 30 minutes after the last athlete enters the water. You can see more at ironmanlouisville.com. Now, our DJ, Nick Curcio, will be one of the Ironman finishers. And if you want to reach his DJ team, that phone number is 502-762-8044. Their website is allstarentertainmentky.com. Are we going to... Oh. All right, I'm trying to name the tune. Can we name the tune?
Something clap. I don't know.
Hand clap. There we go. Hand clap by Sits in the Tangerines.
I love it, though. Whatever it is, I cannot put my finger on it. Maybe Caitlin can do that. It was a perfectly October weekend.